This is an interesting month for you, Capricorn, and not because important things will be happening to you, more like because you will be interacting with a lot of interesting data, information, knowledge, and it's best if you try to stay on top of it. I am Nadia, the astrologer for people who do not necessarily believe in astrology but who love hearing their monthly forecasts, and this is yours for September 2025. At the very start of the month, right on the 1st of September, planet Saturn, your cosmic ruler, is retrograding back into Pisces. Back because it has been in Pisces from 2023. Then it moved into the next sign of Aries at the end of May this year. It spent the summer there. And now it's moving back to Pisces for just a few months until February 2026 to deal with some unfinished business before in February it moves into Aries for good. So while it was in Aries this summer, it was assessing the situation in the home/family area of your life. Saturn is a strict planet, and when it enters a new sign, it's looking for flaws. If something has not been earned, Saturn may try to take it away. It may also point to where you have been slacking and give you a more demanding task, so you could learn to act like a real grown-up. Anyway, it's dipped its toe there, then remembered there's still some unfinished business in Pisces, and it's now in Pisces that rule your area of intellectual labor, information, communication, and short trips. It's limiting and demanding, so there would probably be fewer fun short trips, and maybe whatever short trips you take, they'd probably be more like hard work. And you'll have to really get into that intellectual labor part of the equation. The more discipline you put in, the more sustainable the results will be. And maybe hold your tongue if you're about to say something that may get you in trouble. Saturn, as the planet of self-control and consequences, wouldn't want you to do that. Mercury is moving into a friendly Earth sign of Virgo on the 2nd of September and will stay there until the 18th. It's not a lot, so it will be moving at quite a high speed, but that's good. It means that your mind will be quick enough to deal with the business that Virgo rules in your horoscope, which is everything you do to either expand your own horizons or somebody else's horizons. Science and higher education, culture, travel, international relations, media, publishing. So 2nd to 18th of September, if you have anything in your plans that's related to any of that, be quick and efficient about it. Make a list and try going through it with as much efficiency as you can manage. Before we come any further, by now you probably know it pays to watch the forecast for both your sun sign and your rising sign. As good as that is, it still will not show you how the transits we're talking about are affecting other important points in your chart, like your Venus or your midheaven. It will also tell you absolutely nothing about how your own progress chart is unfolding, which is basically your individual developmental plan. That's the kind of deeper personal layer I cover in private readings, and you can book one with me through the link up here and below in the description. And now back to your month ahead. Next up, we have a full moon that is also a total lunar eclipse on the 7th in Pisces, in your area of information, communication, and intellectual labor. And yes, this is where the demanding Saturn just returned with some unfinished business. Don't let the word eclipse scare you there. It's a benevolent, slightly fateful type of an eclipse that's more like a nudge in the right, interesting, future-oriented direction. Kind of like a good cop, bad cop situation here, where the Saturn is the bad one and this lunar eclipse the good one. So on the days surrounding the 7th, just keep your eyes open for something that's spikes your curiosity, some interesting ideas, an area you would like to explore, a topic that is suddenly attractive to you, that sort of thing. It could also be going someplace, seeing something, talking to somebody. Basically, the universe is trying to gently push something on you and, just be receptive. So after 16 days in Virgo, on the 18th, Mercury is moving on into the sign of Libra. In your horoscope, it's the area of public affairs, your career, your business, your relationships with the officials, everything you do in your most official role. Use this time after the 18th to be vocal in this your official role. Mercury is also very much about movement. It's fidgety. So maybe you will be moving around more for work, meeting people, presenting more. It's also a good time to sign official papers unless it's the 18th and maybe 2 more days after that. So sign important official papers, but after the 21st. Or even better, after the 25th. I'll get to why in a bit. But first, let me talk about what Venus is doing this month. It starts September in Leo, where it spends the first 19 days of the month. In your horoscope, Leo rules deep intimacy, your own psychological depths, and weirdly, using other people's money or resources. So the first 19 days of September are great for getting even closer to your partner, deepening the loving trust between you, making sweet love. It's also great for using the feminine archetypes to work with your deep-seated psychological issues. Venus in Leo can also represent a female therapist, but only if she's alluring, magnetic, and if for some reason this is helpful to you in your process. Leo also rules this other people's money area of your life, and it may be that you will simply be enjoying life more and that someone else will be paying for it. Or it may also be that you will have to charm certain people in order to get the funding for your project, like investor money or a grant or a stipend. On the 19th, Venus moves into Virgo, which is this area of expanding horizons, your own or other people's, and it will start helping you there. Mercury has already passed through this area and allowed you to work with the tasks and topics of this area in your life intellectually. Venus will now have to beautify it, make it more attractive. So maybe you were working on an educational course and the content is there by the 19th, and you use the days after the 19th to put it into some attractive form with illustrations and so on, but also to think of the delivery and of how to make sure your audience likes what you say and wants to absorb it. Or it may be that while Mercury was there, you were preparing your trip and now you're enjoying it. So to sum it up, midway, in anything that has to do with expansion and adventure and higher knowledge, you work intellectually while Mercury is there before the 18th and more artfully after the 19th when Venus is here, or maybe you're enjoying it. But that's not the end of the story. There is also a new moon in Virgo happening on the 21st of September. And it's not a normal new moon in Virgo. We've actually had a normal new moon in Virgo in August. It's just that it happened at the very beginning of the sign. And then when that happens, the next new moon also falls into the same sign, only at the very end of it. But this is not even the weirdest thing about this new moon. The weird one is that it's actually a solar eclipse, and also the one that is more about finishing things up and letting go. So to sum it up even more now, in August you may have started something in this area of your life that's about expanding horizons. In September, with Mercury's help, you may need to work closely on it and attentively. Once Venus is there, you either enjoy it or you need to use your charm to convince others that it's cool. And then there's this pesky solar eclipse on the 21st of September that may create some circumstances that make it impossible to go on. Is this bad? Not necessarily. It could also be that you started something new in this area and will need to say goodbye to something old. Like you started looking for a new job in media or publishing, and there you are. You got the new job and you're leaving the old one. Or you are working on your final assignment as a student, and it's becoming clear that you will have to get used to the idea of not being a student soon. So there is a lot of actually positive interpretations, but whatever it is, give it your attention and do not try to control everything. Finally, on the 22nd of September, Mars, the planet of action, drive, and also conflict, moves from Libra, where it was energizing you in your official role, to Scorpio, where it will be adding energy to your networking as well as to how you think about the future. So if you're feeling lonely and you'd like to meet new people, after the 22nd, Mars is telling you to join a group of people who are into sports. Martial arts especially, or people who are fighting for something socially or some highly competitive community. As for future, after the 22nd, it also pays to think of what ideas of future energize you, make you feel like, yes, you want to fight for that, or you want to be a part of it. This is the victory you want to be a part of. It doesn't have to be anything current. You can think as far as 20-30 years ahead, as long as there's something that fires you up. And back to that thing about Mercury, where I told you that you can sign papers in your official role after the 25th. So what I meant by that is that there is this solar eclipse on the 21st, and I would say that maybe it's best to wait for a couple of days after the dust settles after the solar eclipse, and you will be more clear about what's good for you and what you actually want. If this resonated, consider subscribing to be notified when the next forecast comes out, and have a beautiful September, Capricorn.